Hello everyone, this is the present perfect progressive tense versus the present perfect tense test. In this video, you will have to choose the correct tense to use for each question. You may want to review my last video on the present perfect progressive or review my videos on the present perfect tense, which are on the links below. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Number 1. And the answer is, I have been searching for my keys since I got home today. Have you seen them? In this case, we use the present perfect progressive because we're talking about an action that's occurring right now. Okay, the searching thing, right? That's that activity that's going on right now. That started in the past and it has continued. Okay, all right. Number 2. And the answer is, the first person says, "Why are you crying?" And the other person responds, "I have been watching a really sad film." Now, in this particular case, the person's talking about an action that's occurring right now. The person is crying and says, "I have been watching a really sad film." All right, so the person probably is still watching it right now. So it's not about an experience of having watched it at one time. It's about right now, that activity that's going on that started in the past and continues until now, which is the present perfect progressive. Okay, number 3. And the answer is, they have visited Egypt many times over the last few years. In this case, we're talking about an experience of having visited Egypt at unspecified times in the past, which is the present perfect tense. Okay? It's not about an activity that's going on right now, even though it's related to now. Okay? All right. Number 4. And the answer is, John has been painting the house for 3 days now. When will he be finished? This is a little bit tricky here, but it really isn't, because what's the person talking about? Well, the person is talking about an action that's happening right now, that's still happening now, right? With a duration of time, which is actually what? For 3 days. So the person is still there, painting, doing something, the action, painting, and it started in the past and continues until now. It's not about the experience of having been painted. It's happening right now. You got it? Okay. Number 5. And the answer is, how long have you been living in Arizona? Or, how long have you lived in Arizona? Now, when we ask this question, we mean the same thing. You can use either one of these to mean, are you living there right now? Because when you say, have you lived in Arizona, you're assuming the person is there right now. So they both work for this particular situation. Okay? All right. Number 6. And the answer is, my aunt is very sick. I have visited her 3 times this month. In this case, we're talking about the experience of having visited her 3 times. All right? And in a time period, this month. Okay? And it's still occurring now, even though it doesn't say it. All right, this is different because we're using that experience thing where we're talking about the experience of doing it a number of times in the past and how it's related to now. And when we do that, we use the present perfect tense, which is the answer here. Okay? All right, number 7. And the answer is, first person says, is it raining now? And the second person says, yes, it has been raining since this morning. Now we use the present perfect progressive here because we're talking about an action that's occurring right now that began in the past, which is this morning, until now. All right, well, since this morning, right? That's what it means. It means from the morning until now. It gives you the duration of time there. And also, it's an action that's happening now. And let's not forget, the present perfect progressive is usually used with temporary activities. So raining, right, is a temporary activity. It's not going to rain forever, right, or for a year, or for, I hope not anyway. Okay, so that's how you know. All right, number 8. And the answer is, are you good friends with Joan? And the second person says, yes, I have known her for a long time. We use the present perfect tense here because we're talking about an experience, right? The person has known someone, so obviously they met them in the past, and they still know them, according to the question. Are you good friends, right? The person asks them, and they say, oh, yes, I have known her. All right, that's a purely experience question. There's not an action that's going on right now. All right, and also the verb know is a non-action verb, and we do not use ing with it. In this particular case, now there might be a case somewhere where you could use it, but usually we don't use it with non-action verbs. Okay? All right, number 9. And the answer is, Mike has had that car for 10 years. It's very reliable. Right from the start, we know that the verb have, we can't use it because it's a non-action verb in this particular context. So we can't use it in the progressive, the ing. So we know that much. And also, we're talking about an experience, right? Happened in the past, right? And he still owns that car. All right? He has had it. He still has it. That's what it means. Okay? All right, number 10. And the answer is, hi, Stanley. I'm sorry I'm late. I hope you haven't been waiting for me long. Or you can say, hi, Stanley. I'm sorry I'm late. I hope you haven't waited for me long. And this one is a little bit tricky because you can really use either one here. Now, some people may argue that it should be the present perfect. And this is because once the person arrives, the person is not waiting anymore. So that's not technically happening now. This is very interesting, right? But it feels like it should be the present perfect progressive. I don't know what it is. There's a feeling to this. On the other hand, I think they're both okay to use. All right, I would prefer the present perfect progressive, but they're both okay. All right, number 11. And the answer is, the first person says, why are you so wet? And the other person responds, I have been washing my car. Now you can kind of get this one because the person says, why are you so wet? So it feels like that person is implying that they're looking at them right now. So that action is happening now. And actually, there's not enough context here to be clear, but I think it's the best one, have been washing. Now, if we had more context, maybe you could say and use the past tense and say, I just washed my car. You see, that would also work. So for this answer and for the choices that we have, I think I have been washing my car is the best example here. All right? Okay, number 12. And the answer is Lenny's team has won 4 times so far this season. In this case, we use the present perfect tense because we're talking about the experience of having won 4 times this season, all right, this year, and it's related to now. And they're probably still playing, okay? His team is probably still playing, okay? It's basically an experience in the past type of answer, okay? All right, number 13. And the answer is, have you seen Rose? And the second person responds and says, yes, she's in the kitchen. She has been cooking there since this morning. Now, the person is doing an action right now, okay, that began in the past and has continued until now. All right, so this is definitely present perfect progressive. All right, number 14. And the answer is, Don has been playing video games for the last 4 hours and he is still playing now. All right, this is pretty easy, right? Don is doing something right now that he began 4 hours ago and he's still playing now. This is like a classic example. Okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. The final question, number 15. And the answers are, Bernadette has been waiting for the bus for an hour, and the bus still hasn't arrived yet. Okay, I saved the best for last, right? Okay, the first one, we know waiting, has been waiting. Bernadette is doing an action now that she started in the past and she's still doing now. And then we say the bus hasn't arrived yet. We use the present perfect tense, right? We're talking about, right, something that's supposed to, well, the bus is supposed to arrive. It hasn't arrived yet up to this time, okay? So we're talking about something that began in the past while the bus is getting there, right? It's going to their location, right? And it hasn't, right? It has not arrived yet. It's a unfinished action that's related to now. Classic example of the present perfect tense. Okay? Okay, that's all for this video. How did you do? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for watching my videos, and thank you for subscribing, and remember what I always say, keep practicing. See you next time.